because it makes them weaker. You'll see parts of these Bibles that tells you how this works. I've seen it in the Quran and in the Bible, how you're supposed to behave. But a lot of people aren't following their own literature because all these books are written in the black and white, and they don't know or unable to differentiate between good and evil. Therefore, they lean towards evil, believing that they're good when they're in fact they're evil because they haven't quite figured it out. But once they understand, and then they go back and read these books that are made, so it'll either take away your knowledge or give you more, depending on what you know. So they were distinctly made as a secret book, although it's a book they give everybody, so they think everything is. And then you're talking about, well, whether you're reading these holy books in a literal fashion or a figurative fashion. So the literalists will just read the book as it is and believe it as it is, and the figurative person will be like, oh no, wow, there's a whole mess of secrets here. You start to see the real code behind the language, as in fractals. So anyway, the emotions can't continue to be in the same place. So as the pendulum swings, it'll go from negative to positive, whether it's depression or anger or whatever it may be. You call this the think and feel, because sometimes the negative thought actually creates your feelings, but sometimes when a negative projects onto you, they give you the feeling first, then the negative thought comes. So the feeling, if the feeling comes first, you feel the feeling. If the thought comes first, you think the thought. In other words, if you have a negative thought in your mind, use it to the positive. And if it's a negative emotion, use it to the positive. But no, it may be a thought first or it may be a feeling first. But regardless, you think and feel, and you create a positive with you. And it's like you took that negative prisoner. They projected their negative on you. You took it, but you didn't retaliate it. You didn't give it back. You'd be like, okay, you want to give me this? All right, I'll take your devil. And then you take that devil home. It's like, all right, buddy, now you're my prisoner. And he's trying to get you to be evil, but you're being good. So he's getting angry. Why don't you get angry? Why don't you go and kill that guy back? Why don't you go and curse him? But you're being calm. And now you'll be like, oh, you're my prisoner. You're not so happy. He don't like that. Because now he's in jail in your body. But meanwhile, you're loving and you're being calm and you're being patient. And he's screaming, get me out of here. But as long as you keep him there and that person is tied to that very person that projected it to you, so you sort of own that person that projected that negative to you. That's why it's very dangerous when you treat people that God's people bad, because that will not go unnoticed. There's going to be a price to pay. Oh, believe you me, unless you change your ways, you are going to pay. And therefore they're blind, not realizing what makes them stumble. And then one day they'll wake up and say, why am I in so much trouble? It's because you're doing what you're doing. There's a way for a person to not be in trouble and to be in trouble. And there's a person who is in trouble but is not in trouble. And knowing by this, you will, again, grow and learn. And you could also use the vibration, because what they had given you was a negative vibration. So you may listen to a positive vibration in order to, over time, because the negative energy wants to keep you. And over time, with the positive vibration, you relax, you're calm, you listen to a bird sing, you listen to the waves come in, or you just listening to silence. You put some plugs in your ears and you relax and just listen to nothing, or listen to some nice smooth jazz, or some guided meditation. But you have to use a real good guided meditation, which will come forth in another lesson. But again, it will all reveal itself over time, little by little. So again, you're growing better, smarter, stronger, better, smarter, stronger. And by the time you finish the human instruction, you would have achieved the mastery of yourself and the mastery of understanding true knowledge. So you do the same thing. Even when you're angry, you feel the anger. You say to yourself that this feels good over and over again, although you know it doesn't feel good because you're feeling all this anger. But you tell yourself, I am feeling good, I am calm, I am relaxed. And meanwhile, the inner dialogue of this negative being or force and energy within you, it'll be like, nah, man, get angry, get riled up, let's go kill somebody, let's go hurt somebody. You'll be like, I am calm, I am at peace, I am at one with myself. That only the present exists, because it's going to want you to quickly go south, either fast time during the present, or it wants you to relive the past over and over again, it's always just over and over again, or to worry about the future over and over again. And so you see, little by little, your mind is being overworked because you're stuck on this loop that's irrelevant. It has nothing to do with you. That time is a lie. You are in the present. You're fine now. Relax. Breathe in, hold your breath, breathe out, and be calm. And so you will be greater than the negative, and soon the negative will have to leave. And at times, there's this law that when this negative eventually has to leave, it has to give you something good as a form of balance, or unless God steps in and throws him out and gives you this good inner dialogue, because from that, you use the bad for the good. So, your perception of an action can actually be used to better yourself, to learn and grow. And let's just suppose a dog one day was trying to bite you, and you can think, oh, the dog was trying to bite you, but you could also be glad that the dog didn't bite you. So you're happy that you didn't get injured from it. But you could also learn that next time this dog come your way, you're going to be ready for it, and also know how to handle dogs. That's a procedure in itself. I used to work for the post office, and they taught people, well, basically how to fight dogs. The dog only has one weapon, that's his mouth. These poor dumb creatures, for some reason, are just territorial. So you just stick something in his mouth. Usually we have a big bag as a postman, so you use the bag between you and him, and you just bite the bag. I mean, technically, their underbelly is always exposed, so the second they grab and lock jaw onto your bag or whatever you have, you can take your sneaker and stuff it in his mouth, or whatever, and as soon as they put that in their mouth and they lock onto it, you can hurt this dog. But your objective is not to hurt the dog. Hopefully the owner is somewhere along the line, or not to kill this dog, because your objective is just simply to calm the dog down. Sometimes just screaming at the dog really loud, really quick. Especially some women, they have these high-pitched sounds that the dog is like, yo, I'm out of here. All he hears is this great big scream. Ah! The dog's like, he'd be freaking out. He's like, look, I'm getting out of town. This woman's just going psycho on me. But that's his only weapon. It's his mouth. And sometimes it's the very owners that are causing these dogs to behave like that because they're not training them. That's why when I see a dog barking with the owner, I look at the owner. I don't look at the dog. I know that the owner is somehow transferring their energy to this dog for not training it, and the dog is simply either protecting and behaving in such a manner that it's manifesting their energy on to the dog, and the dog is trying to attack you when the problem is the human, not the dog. So I try to tell him, hey man, be calm and look at the person. Don't look at the dog. And a lot of time when the person starts to be calm, you see the dog calm down. But if you're making the dog the problem, then the dog will be like, oh, so you want to fight now? And again, that's his only weapon. He only has a mouth, you know. That's it. There's nothing else to him. And well, some people, if you're quick enough, you can just, you know, square off and just knock him down right to his face. I've seen that done too. It depends, you know, how you work, because sometimes a dog will jump up, and at that point, whatever. Again, this is not about hurting animals, so please, I love dogs. Usually, and dogs love me 99.99% of the time. The dog will leave the owner, come to me, and be on my side, and then the owner is like upset, like, I thought you was my dog. I thought you was my dog. I even see one guy try to sick his dog on me, and then when the dog came to me, he didn't come to me. He came to me, he looked at me, and he was like, no, never mind. So then the dog took off. He took off, and I don't know, he just took off, and the owner was now mad because now he's running after his dog, and he's going through all over town. I don't even know if he caught the dog, but I guess it taught him a lesson. You know, certain people, the dogs will be like, nah, he's not worth my time. I'm not even going to bother. Or, you know, there's also other forces at work. So while he tried to put his dog on me, the dog came running to me and just like said, nah, that's not cool. So he just ran off. It looked like a pretty expensive dog, so he was upset, thinking that his dog was going to attack me when he let him go, but the dog went past me and just got lost. So, you know, in other words, if you're a dog owner and you love your dog, teach that dog so he's smart enough to know not to mess with people if there's if no one's hurting him, and know that if there is a problem, then, you know, know that the owner's in charge to guide him and help him, and of course love him, and they reciprocate. And the dog also knows when someone's being kind to him. And the dog knows, these dogs sometimes know what's going on before the humans do, because they can sense these energies. And sometimes it takes time for them to trust, because some people really hurt their animals and they disregard them and they treat them bad. And you know, you can see those videos on YouTube how people are just simply cruel to everything, because they're cruel to their children, you know, they're cruel to a lot of things. So that's just a manifestation or a personification of who they are and the energy they choose. If someone is continuing to project their anger on you, you may just decide to leave. Don't even bother arguing with them. As soon as they open their mouth, blah, 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 you be like, you look around, and they'll probably look around like, who are you looking for? And as they're looking around, you just leave. Just go somewhere else. Come back later. As opposed to be blah, 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 and the other person's blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, you're playing that game. As opposed to being like the first word, blah, 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 and you're just totally cool. And you already know by the first 5 words out of their mouth that this just ain't going to go right. Sometimes you can make it go right because they just may be angry. They just may, again, you don't always know why they're in that particular state. Somebody may be poking that bear. Or it could be because they're truly indeed negative. So you can leave the area immediately. Otherwise, they'll continue on this negative projection, which can leave you upset, and it doesn't help the ability to communicate in a positive manner. But always maintain your positive inner dialogue, in which you are playing intermediate between this person who doesn't know how to steer his body and his mind, and so it's a deciphering system to not let it go into you in a negative fashion, but when he's going blah, 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 you know, and you be able to make it right within yourself by saying, while he's indirectly telling you, hey, get angry, get pissed off, you just tell your mind, I am calm, I am relaxed, I'm taking a deep breath right now, I am at peace with myself. And then you may want to shut down if you can't leave and they're continuously projecting this negative on you. Or you may have these feelings, any of these negative feelings, but do not be stressed. Keep your mind and your body calm. You may want to meditate afterwards and turn off all appliances. Do not take anything that will give you anxiety. Don't take any medications at that particular time, because that's elevating your mind and your thoughts and your being. Reconfigure yourself, and do so naturally, like meditating and having these positive inner dialogues and staying calm. You may also put your thoughts on paper so you can see them clearly as to what you're feeling, what is going on, and just simply do and feel the opposite of what you had written. And sometimes your emotions could be a can of worms, so you may be thinking you're only angry, but you may be feeling anger and worry and depression. So you need to address all three. Being anger is in the future, worries in the past, anxiety is running time in the present too fast, and depression is timing too slow. So what you feel, and be able to go through a solution and any opposing feelings. So if you feel regret or guilt, you can simply change that feeling into believing that what you had actually done was right, and done in a right way, fashion, and manner. That's why you continue on this positive framework, because they're going to project and say, well, you're wrong, you're bad. But when you know you've done it right, and then you or if you record a conversation and you listen to it, you can see how sweet you were, and all this negative projection was just them projecting their negatives upon you. So you again, learn how to forgive them, not hate, but instead remember to learn from the situation. How did it take place? How did it build up? So in the future, if any situation should arise, you already know, oh, this is just the same thing that happened before, and therefore your procedure will take place, and you don't have to overthink any given situation, because life is like that. There's the same situations arise, so this is how you learn. And so it's a series of the same incidents or similar incidents that repeats itself, but it's only a fool that will keep regurgitating the same problems with the same problem situation, like a dog throwing up and eating its vomit, a dog throwing up and eating its vomit, and not learning, hey, don't eat the vomit. So being happy, again, if they project pain, empowers you, observing the experience of pain through the whole body, and therefore overcoming it and finding solutions that help alleviate and keeping track so you know what works and what doesn't work. And if you feel fear, you can ignore it and challenge it, therefore overcome, saying that you can handle the worst that can happen. Now, if you feel worried or believe that, and also believe that you can handle the worst thing that can happen, and you can overcome this, and it helps you to think and feel in such a way that it's positive and becoming more resilient, and that you can continue to achieve and not drown, and gives you a strong ability, and it shows everyone what kind of character you do have. And some people find that very attractive, while other people are strictly afraid of it, because it not only contradicts them, but it destroys their illogical lunacy that they have created as a reality, when it is a deception upon themselves and on others. There is a difference between what you want to feel and another person's negative projection. If someone is yelling at you in a very violent manner, you can choose not to be afraid or angry, and again fall into that. And if they start becoming violent, rope a dope. Protect yourself and just tell them to stop. Hey, cut it out. And keep your calm, keep your energy, and eventually they'll figure it out when they see you. Usually, when they see you next time.